Okay, here we are. Welcome back. This is beer 2 for week 6. This beer is made by Deschutes Brewery out of Bend, Oregon. I want to spend a little time real quick about these guys. Deschutes, again, these guys are really into environmental preservation. For those of you that want to support somebody that, some companies or whatever that are big into sustainability and so on, these guys right here are the people you want to take a look at. Something that's funny is, or I don't want to say funny, but unusual, is every year since 2012, these guys have reconditioned and put back into their water table 1 billion gallons of water. They're positioned and I know some friends of mine that live in Oregon, and they will be able to tell you better than I can about the positioning of this brewery, but they are on the Deschutes River, and they work with the Deschutes River Conservatory, and basically what they do is everything, all their waste product ends up going somewhere else to be repurposed. And they only use, the 1 billion gallons I mentioned is actually only a fourth, or actually it's 4 times what they use in order to make their yearly, their beer production. So anyway, these guys are, if you want to be a, conservationist, or if you want to support somebody that is into that type of thing, think about Deschutes, okay? So anyway, PSA over. This is their Pilsner. They're a low-cal Pilsner. It's 99 calories, again, comparable to like a Bud Light or a Miller LIte or whatever. 4.0 ABV, 25 IBU, and 4.2 grams of carbs for 12 ounces. It's classified as a Pilsner, which we've talked about before. Pilsner is kind of a variation of a lager. This particular style of beer was invented in Czechoslovakia, and so we went through that last week, so I'm not going to beat that horse. Anyway, so a Pilsner should have a couple of basic taste characteristics. When you think about a Pilsner, there should be like a kind of a biscuity type, sweet overtone in the malt, and this beer does have that, but they use a different type of malt that's called Carapils, and what that actually is, excuse me, the intent behind that type of malt, it's a floor malt, meaning that that's where the actual fermentation process takes place, but what this beer actually has is kind of almost like a graham cracker type backbone, so it's a little sweeter than a lot of the beers that you might find in mainstream. And again, this is mainstream. I mean, these guys, they ship to 30 states, all right? So you can find this. I bought this at Meijer, okay? So it's not something that you have to go hunt for or anything like that. It's something you can find relatively easily. But it uses the Tettnang hops, and then we've talked about the noble hops before. Tettnang is one of the noble hops. It's a dual-purpose aromatic and bittering hop. But this also uses lemon drop and Azaka hops, and the lemon drop gives it a, and I keep, and you guys, if you've watched any of the other reviews and stuff, I'm a big fan of something that makes you feel like you're outside or gives you that I'm enjoying my life type feel, and this beer really does do that. It has the lemon drop hops. They give it the intent of a lemon drop hop is to kind of give it the citrus overtone, like mint. It does have kind of a mint aroma you can smell if you really are trying. If you know what to look for, you can pick it out. We talked about lemon drop last week, but anyway, the Azaka hops, dual purpose, but these are kind of used at the end of the brewing process a lot of times, and you'll find Azaka hops in IPA. So this beer is very well balanced. It has a lot of characteristics of a more bitter type beer, but at the same time, it's aromatic. It's not in the flavor. So really, this beer has a lot of good qualities, I think, for outdoor activity. If you want to, if you're looking for something that's, again, my purpose is not to talk about the mainstream beers. My purpose is to talk about other things that have, or other beers that would give you options to try that won't wreck your diet. And again, based on the information I already gave you, the 99 calories and the 2 or 4.2 grams of carbs, this beer would do that. I mean, you're getting basically the same nutrition that you would out of a Miller Lite or even a Mick Ultra. I mean, at 99 calories, but you're getting a lot more flavor, a lot more opportunity to enjoy a good beer. So this beer is supposed to be, again, with a Pilsner, it should be light. We talked about this last week, and it should be very low in the bitterness. The rating on this is 25 IBU, so again, very low on the bitterness, the International Bitterness Unit scale, so it should be good as far as that goes. And again, I've had it before. I'm not going to blow smoke or anything and say, oh, this is a surprise to me or anything like that. This is a good beer that if you really want to, again, vary from the mainstream, same old, especially right now with all the, the stuff that's going on. We don't get a chance. We're kind of on lockdown or whatever. We don't have a chance to go out and explore things. But you go to the grocery store, go to Meijer. You want to try something different, buy this beer. Okay. I keep it on hand as often as I can. It's usually in my refrigerator. The Deschutes, the website, they'll say, oh, it's great for summer. As far as I'm concerned, I like summer all the time. So I would enjoy this year-round, and I pretty much do. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this open so we can see what it's all about. One thing about a Pilsner, and like we've talked about before, this beer should be relatively clear. It should be very light in flavor. You shouldn't expect to see anything other than just a regular, pulled it off the tap in the local bar type beer. What I'll tell you is, though, this color is, you think about a Miller LIte or whether it's a little bit more pale than this. So the Carapils gives it a little bit, and that's the malt that I talked about a little bit earlier. That gives it a little bit more rich color. It's not necessarily like, oh, this is like, oh, but it is, a little bit richer in color. And again, as far as the aroma, you can really pick out those aromatic hops. There's like I said, the lemon drop hops. It's got just enough of an edge on it that makes you really, it kind of makes your mouth water a little bit. It's not sour, that's not what I'm getting at, but it has an edge to it. So again, if you want to have a beer that doesn't necessarily, fall into the, same old, this is a good way to go because it has a lot of different flavor profiles. I would say if I was going to pick out the couple of flavor profiles that are really prominent, I would say lemon, I would say mint. I would also say that there's an overall sweetness to this beer that you don't get out of one of the mainstream beers, again, Busch Light, whatever, Coors Light, whatever. This has, because of that Carapils malt, it has a sweetness, and you can really taste that when you hit this. And what I'll tell you is, and a lot of times people talk about a crushability factor, and that means how fast can you drink them. This will be really high on the crushability scale. And I can tell you that many times, many years ago, in my in my days of, really hammering a lot of beer or whatever, this beer will be right at the top of the list. We go to Pizza Crossing or go to, sorry, that's a local reference, but go to places that are local, and you have like the regular beers on tap or whatever, and this beer right here would remind you of that, but like a step up. And the step up is because of the different ingredients. And so, like I said, I mean, this is a good beer for the style. It's not something, again, I would drink. This is a softball beer as far as I'm concerned. If you want to go outside and you want to be out and kind of think about being outside, like I said, in our current situation, we don't, we're kind of limited on where we can go and what we can do and that type of thing. If you want to think about days when you were on your boat, or days when you were playing ball, or days when you were playing golf, or whatever, get this beer, because there's just enough of the herbal and floral overtones of the hops that they use in this to give you that sense, that feel, right? So anyway, Deschutes Brewing, I mean, great job, guys. This is a good beer. I'll go 4 out of 5 on taste, 4 out of 5 on aroma and color, and the bitterness for a Pilsner. Honestly speaking, for a Pilsner, it's a little bit more bitter than what I would expect. So again, when I evaluate bitterness, I think about how it should be compared to what type of beer they say it is. So I will ding it a little bit on that, because it's a little bit more bitter than what I would expect out of a Pilsner. But again, when I say that, it's not like, oh, this beer make your face shrink in or anything. It's just got a lot of, it's that edge I talked about earlier. So, I'll go 3 on that. I'll give it 15 out of 20. And I do keep this in my beer fridge. Is it faithful to the style? Yes, absolutely. It is a very good example of a Pilsner. So, I keep it largely because it makes me think of summer. So, if you guys want something to, virtually get out of the house, I would hit this. So I'll finish it off, and stay safe.